All right, let's be honest. What turns a woman on is very different from what turns a man on. Most guys can simply look at an attractive woman, see her body, her curves, her smile, and instantly feel that rush of arousal. But for women, it's completely different. If you truly want to turn a woman on, if you want her to crave you, to think about you when you're not around, and to secretly imagine being close to you, you have to stimulate her mind before her body. That's why in this video, I'm going to show you 5 simple words that can sneak into her mind, triggering deep emotional gut level attraction. The kind that gets her excited about you almost immediately without even realizing why. These are words that don't sound creepy or try hard. They sound innocent, but when used the right way, they bypass her logic and go straight into her subconscious. So pay attention because by the end of this video, you'll know how to use these 5 words to make her feel something powerful. A mix of emotional safety and sexual tension that no woman can resist. I'm Amelia, and welcome to Dark Psychology, where we decode the hidden emotional triggers that make people obsessed. Word number 1, no, the power of refusal. Believe it or not, the most attractive word you can ever say to a woman is no. Sounds strange, right? But here's why it works. It builds tension. It creates challenge. And it shows that you are a man who has boundaries, a man who doesn't chase validation. See, most men think saying yes to everything will make her like them. But the truth is, when you say no, you signal self-respect, control, and scarcity. 3 traits that instantly separate you from the 99% of men who can't say it. When a woman sees that you respect yourself enough to say no, it activates something primal inside her. She starts to see you as a man with standards, a man who chooses, not a man who waits to be chosen. Let's make it practical. Imagine you've just met a girl at a bar. She's beautiful. She smiles and says, "Buy me a drink." Now, most guys would instantly say yes, desperate to please her. But you look at her with calm confidence and say, "No, we just started talking. Let's see if we actually vibe first. If it goes well, maybe I'll buy you a drink, or maybe you'll buy me one." Boom. In that single moment, you flip the dynamic. You've gone from just another guy to a man who doesn't need approval. That no isn't rejection. It's leadership, it's control, and that's exactly what women find irresistible. You see, most guys who get stuck in the friend zone are the ones who are afraid to say no. They say yes to every request. "Can you drive me somewhere? Can you help me move my furniture? Can you fix this for me?" They think it makes them nice, but what it really makes them is replaceable. Now, imagine saying instead, "Nah, I'm not really in the mood to lift furniture today, but I'd love to hang out with you later." Suddenly, you're not the nice guy. You're the interesting guy. The guy who has things going on, the guy she can't control, and that unpredictability is what ignites attraction. Now that we've started strong, let's move to something even more powerful. A word that instantly shifts a woman's energy from neutral to flirty and sparks intimacy without crossing a line. Stay with me because this next one is dangerous when you use it right. All right, let's talk about a word that every man wants to say to a woman, but very few know how to use correctly. That word is sexy. Now, the word sexy is like fire. Used the right way, it warms the air and builds irresistible tension. Used the wrong way, it burns everything down. The problem is most guys throw it around too early, too bluntly, or too often. They think saying, "You're so sexy" within the first minute will make her feel desired. But it doesn't. It just makes her think, "Oh, he's like every other guy." So let's shift perspective. Instead of using sexy as a pickup word, use it as a connector, a way to bridge comfort with desire. If you've just met her or you're on a first date, don't rush it. Saying you're sexy too soon kills the mystery. But when the energy has built up, when she's laughing, leaning in, and the chemistry is alive, that's when the word sexy becomes magic. You might say it when you're walking side by side and she brushes her hair back. You look at her, half smile, and simply say, "You look really sexy when you do that." Not forced, not exaggerated, just said like a thought that slipped out. That single moment tells her everything she needs to know, that you see her as a woman, not just a person, that you're confident enough to express attraction without apology. See, the word sexy flips a switch in her subconscious mind. It changes the frame of interaction from friendly to flirtatious. It tells her we're not just having a conversation, there's tension here. And women love tension when it's handled correctly. It wakes up that emotional chemistry that makes her heart race a little faster. It's the same principle as a romantic movie. The longer the tension builds, the stronger the emotional payoff. So, when you use the word sexy, you're not trying to impress her, you're guiding the energy between you two. It's about intent, confidence, subtlety. Say it softly. Pause afterward. Let the silence speak for you, because the moment after you say sexy, when she looks at you and doesn't know how to react, that's when her attraction spikes. Here's what most guys do wrong. They try to fill every silence, but silence is part of seduction. You don't need to repeat the word sexy again and again. Use it once, let her feel it, and then move on. For example, you're at dinner. She's talking passionately about something, and you interrupt her playfully. You get this look in your eyes when you talk like that. It's kind of sexy. Then immediately shift the topic. That shift creates tension because it leaves her mind hanging in curiosity. She'll replay your words over and over, trying to decode what you meant. And that's the psychological secret. Attraction lives in ambiguity. When she can't fully read you, she can't stop thinking about you. But before we move on to the third word, let me tell you something interesting. Sometimes you don't even need to say anything to turn a woman on. No words, no lines, just energy. Because sometimes what drives her wild isn't what you say. It's what she feels when she realizes you're turned on by her. So before we move to word number 3, trouble, let's explore one quick but powerful insight: how the male body can trigger attraction without a single word, and how understanding this helps you use these next words even more effectively. All right, now we move into one of my favorite words because it combines mystery, challenge, and playfulness all in one tiny package. That word is trouble. See, the word trouble has an energy to it. It teases, it flirts. It says, I see your wild side and I like it. It's the kind of word that builds a connection between you and her that feels private, almost like an inside joke only the two of you share. In female psychology, there's one principle that never changes. Women love playful unpredictability. They're emotionally wired to feel drawn toward tension that's fun, not forced. Men who make them feel something, not just say something. So when you call her trouble, you're not insulting her. You're framing her as intriguing. You're suggesting she's the kind of woman who stirs emotions, who's got a spark you can't quite control. That instantly triggers curiosity and attraction. Because deep down, women want to be seen as the kind of woman who excites you and slightly challenges your composure. Back in college, one of my close friends, let's call her Macy, was that girl everyone secretly wanted. Confident, playful, hard to impress. Most guys tripped over themselves trying to please her until this one guy, Harry, changed the game. He didn't compliment her looks. He didn't chase her. He gave her a nickname, Trouble. Every time she said something witty or teased him, he'd just smile and say, You know what? I'm going to call you Trouble. And that one playful word changed everything because suddenly their conversations felt different, more personal, more fun, more flirty. They weren't just talking anymore, they were bantering. They were building a small private world between them, a space charged with tension and laughter, and guess what? Harry got the girl. Not because he was perfect or smooth, but because he understood how to use a single word to frame the energy. If you've been talking to a woman for a minute or two and she's already smiling, teasing, or playing around, that's your moment. You smirk and say, You know what? I'm going to call you Trouble. You've got that look. She'll almost always respond with curiosity. Why would you call me that? Now you have the stage. You look at her for half a second and with calm confidence say, I don't know. Maybe it's the way you walk or the way you just flipped your hair. I can tell you're trouble. It doesn't even matter what your reason is. What matters is how you say it. Light smile, relaxed voice, eye contact that lingers just a second too long. She'll laugh, maybe hit your arm, but underneath that laughter, something shifts. She starts feeling feminine, playful, flirty, and now she's emotionally investing because you've created a dynamic that's both fun and slightly dangerous. When you give her a playful nickname like Trouble, you're doing two powerful things. One, creating exclusivity. You're giving her a label that's just between the two of you that triggers emotional bonding. It feels personal, special, even intimate. 2, introducing polarity. You're subtly placing yourself in the dominant role, not controlling, but leading. You're setting the tone of flirtation, which allows her to step into her feminine energy comfortably. The combination of playfulness plus leadership is what ignites attraction faster than any pickup line ever could. And here's the kicker: calling her trouble doesn't just make her laugh, it plants a seed. Later that night, when she replays your conversation in her mind, she'll remember how it felt when you said it, the way your voice sounded, the look in your eyes, and she'll smile to herself thinking, he's right, I am trouble. That's how attraction starts. Not through compliments, but through emotions you trigger without even trying. Now that we've mastered playful flirtation, let's shift gears and explore something deeper. A word that plays directly into a woman's natural desire for protection, contrast, and comfort. This next one taps into her subconscious need to feel safe and desired at the same time. And it's one of the most innocent sounding yet powerful words in male vocabulary. All right, so far we've talked about power, tension, and playfulness. But now let's shift into something softer, something most men overlook completely. Because while words like no and trouble create tension and challenge, there's another side to attraction: the safe space where her feminine energy can breathe. And the word that unlocks that space is little. In evolutionary psychology, men are perceived as dominant, strong, protective, while women in the context of attraction are drawn to being feminine, soft, and desired. Now, that doesn't mean women are weak. It means that emotionally they want to feel safe enough to let go, to stop leading, to surrender, not out of submission, but out of trust. And when you use the word little, gently, playfully, with warmth, it speaks directly to that primal part of her that craves safety. Think about what this word implies when it's said in a certain tone. When you tell a woman, you're so little, or you're such a cute little thing, it's not about her size, it's about her energy. You're not commenting on her body. You're creating a contrast between her softness and your strength. And that contrast is electric. Because in the world of courtship, polarity is everything. Your grounded, steady, masculine energy amplifies her light, playful, feminine energy, and that's what makes her feel safe and turned on at the same time. How to use it naturally. Here's how you do it right. Say it lightly with a half smile. It should sound like affection, not dominance. For example, when she tries to act bold or tease you, grin and say, you're such a little troublemaker. Or when she's being cute or passionate about something small, you're adorable when you get like this. You're so little. The word little isn't the star, your tone is. It's the warmth behind your voice that makes her body relax and her guard lower. Because in that moment, she's no longer trying to impress you. She's just feeling you. Here's the deeper psychology. When you call a woman little in a flirty way, you're actually saying, I see your softness and I like it. You're giving her permission to be feminine, to not compete, to not perform. And that's rare. In a world where women are constantly told to be tough, assertive, and in control, meeting a man who allows them to relax into their natural energy is intoxicating. That's why even confident, independent women melt when they feel this dynamic. Because it's not about control, it's about polarity. You bring strength, she brings softness together. That creates chemistry that feels natural, safe, and undeniably sexy. Attraction thrives on contrast. When she feels small next to your energy, not your body, it creates polarity. Polarity leads to trust. Trust leads to surrender. And surrender leads to connection. That's the cycle. That's the emotional logic behind the word little. It's a whisper that says, you can let your guard down around me. And when she does, that's when true attraction, emotional and physical, ignites. Now that we've uncovered the gentle power of little, we're ready to move into the final word. One that seems harmless, but in the right moment can flip everything you've built into obsession-level attraction. It's a word that women love and hate at the same time. A word that confuses their minds but hooks their emotions. It's a test, a tease, and a mind game, all in one. Let's talk about the final word, friend. And trust me, when you learn how to use it right, you'll never look at the friend zone the same way again. So now we arrive at the most misunderstood word in the entire male vocabulary, The one word that can either kill attraction instantly or make her obsessed with figuring you out. That word is friend. Now, I know what you're thinking. You've probably heard this word used against you before, as in, you're such a good friend. Ouch. But what most men don't realize is that the word friend, when used strategically, can actually increase a woman's attraction toward you. Yep, you heard that right. It's all about control and the way you frame the word. Women love a challenge, especially beautiful women who are constantly pursued. Most guys meet them, fall over themselves to impress them, and in seconds she knows she's in control. But when you flip that dynamic, when you make her uncertain, you activate something called the uncertainty principle in attraction psychology. It's the same mechanism that makes people addicted to gambling or social media. When the outcome is unpredictable, the brain releases more dopamine. And that's exactly what happens when you use the word friend in the right moment. You're showing her that you're not chasing, you're choosing. And suddenly she's not sure where she stands. Let's say you've already built some chemistry. You've used words like no, sexy, trouble, and little. She's clearly flirting with you. The energy is playful, comfortable, and warm. Then suddenly you drop it calmly, playfully with a grin. You're such a cool friend. I've got to introduce you to someone. And just like that, her mind short circuits because everything you've done up to this point has screamed attraction. And now you've contradicted it. You've created cognitive dissonance, a mental clash between logic and emotion. Her logical brain says, wait, we've been flirting. But her emotional brain says, why did he just call me a friend? And that confusion hooks her deeper. Here's what happens in that moment. She starts thinking about you, wondering what you meant, replaying your words, trying to decode your intentions. This subtle uncertainty actually strengthens her emotional attachment to you because now she needs closure. She needs to know how you really feel. And the only way she can find out is by spending more time around you. That's the quiet brilliance behind using friend. You turn her curiosity into investment. Let's say you've just spent an amazing evening together. She's laughing, touching your arm, giving every signal in the book. You can feel the chemistry. It's undeniable. As you say goodnight, you smile and say, you're actually a really good friend. Dangerous, but a good one. Watch her reaction. She'll pause, smirk, maybe tease you back, but internally her emotional state will flip from certainty to curiosity. She'll go home thinking, wait, what did that mean? I thought he liked me. That tension, that internal conflict is attraction fuel because the truth is, human desire thrives on emotional contradiction. Now, here's the golden rule, and this is important. Use the word friend sparingly, once, maybe twice. That's it. If you overuse it, she'll start to believe it. If you use it just enough, she'll feel it and chase the emotional balance. One or two perfectly timed friend moments can shift an entire dynamic. It's like planting a seed of curiosity in her mind that keeps growing with every thought she has of you. And that's the core of dark psychology in dating. You don't need to manipulate her. You just need to lead her emotions through tension, release, and curiosity. Let's simplify the pattern behind all 5 words you've learned. 1. No. Sets boundaries, shows strength. 2. Sexy builds tension, creates desire. 3. Trouble adds playfulness, creates emotional safety. 4. Little builds polarity, creates comfort and trust. 5. Friend adds uncertainty, creates obsession. This sequence keeps her brain constantly engaged. A rhythm of push, pull, safety, tension. That's why the women who once ignored you will start chasing your attention when you master these words. Because you're not talking like a man who's trying to impress her. You're talking like a man who understands her psychology. Flirting isn't manipulation, it's communication, the most ancient form of it. When you master these 5 words, you're not memorizing lines. You're learning how to speak to her emotional brain, the part that decides attraction long before logic ever gets involved. So, next time you talk to a woman, remember, you don't need to be richer, taller, or smoother. You just need to understand how to make her feel. And when you can do that, you'll never be just a friend again. I'm Amelia, and this is Dark Psychology, where we uncover the hidden emotional triggers that shape human attraction. I'm Amelia, and this is Stoic of a Whispers, where we uncover the hidden emotional triggers that shape human attraction. If you found this video powerful, don't just watch, apply it. Try using these 5 words in your next interaction and observe her reaction. And if you want to learn the complete formula, how to talk, flirt, and build raw chemistry with any woman, click the link below and check out the F formula, the ultimate step-by-step guide to turning conversation into connection. Remember, you are the signal, you decide the energy. And once you master that, she won't just think about you, she'll dream about you. See you in the next video.